Hi guys, and welcome to my review of the KZ EDX Ultra. This is the latest one in this progression of let's say better tuned IEMs from KZ, and well, I'm gonna spoil things right in the beginning. It's the best one to get thus far. Out of all of them thus far, this is the better one. But anyway, let me explain things and put things into context here. Okay. So sometime the last couple of months, 6 to 8 months, KZ, I am assuming KZ decided let's get things into high gear and start tuning better. They collaborated with two renowned reviewers. They came out with the DQ6S, which was an improvement over the original DQ6, which was tuned by KZ in-house, and the DQ6S solved some of those problems that it had, especially some peaks at the higher frequencies, and was a really nice sounding IEM. And let's forget the issues. In terms of sound, was a really nice sounding IEM. At the same time, the ZEXPro, which was the evolution of the ZEX, came out, and subsequently the CRN, which is basically the ZEXPro renamed because of the collaboration with Clinical. And that was again an opportunity for people to have access to an IEM tuned along the lines of what Clinical usually likes to tune. So a Blessing to Dusk, Midnight Edition, the Human Midnight Edition. So it was that offering of a more mature tuned IEM. At the same time all of that was going on, they came out with the CCA CRA, which for $15 was and still is a unquestionable wreck. I mean, it's worth it. Okay, build is basically simple. It's a plastic shell, and okay, but the truth is, it had a very interesting tune. I'll just show you quickly. It had a very interesting tune, which I've got up there now. So nice sub bass focus, gentle rise into the pin again, a peak at 5K, which was the problem for many people because that peak was quite noticeable, and then some is an understanding, a lot of extension for what is usually possible, and this was down to a new ultra thin 3-micron diaphragm that KZ was using in the CRA. And the truth was, although you might think, oh, okay, this is V and it's gonna have these very maybe recessed mids, and so, no, it didn't. The bass was really of high quality, and because it kind of was already almost or close to flat from about 150 hertz onwards, it didn't bleed into the mids, at least not in a way which was negative or would affect the mids. And the truth was that it actually sounded really good. Okay, it wasn't, keeping in mind it was a $15 IEM, and the small faults that it have, the biggest one being that 5K peak, it was an absolute winner. It was and it still is a really good sounding IEM. Good bass, good mids. It can play instruments well. Tonally, it's pretty decent as well. Technically, like I said, acceptable. So you can't really say that it was a bad IEM. So this was KZ's, let's say, own in-house in-house attempt to make something which was properly tuned, and it paid off. Then a few months ago, maybe 2 months, give or take, they came out with the EDA. Okay, and in the EDA they offered 3 different tunings: balanced, bass, balanced, and high resolution. And personally myself, I found that the balanced was the one that worked best for me. And the balanced is in essence, let's say, a CRA. Okay, and again I'll show you the graph. it's the green line that I've just placed. It's in essence a CRA where the bass below 50 Hertz has been tamed a little bit. The rest follows basically the same thing. There's a slight reduction there of the 5K peak, but then it's the energy passed that really gets reduced. And that is it. No more, no less. I mean, if I was to put here the bass version, just for the sake of comparison, the bass version bloats the mid bass. It has more peaks. It's just not as tidy, let's put it that way. And for me, in this progression of better tuned IEMs, it just was maybe a regress. Okay. And the high res, I'll just show you the high res as well, just for the sake of us again being able. Let me just change the color here. The high res was, and that's the reason why I basically didn't like it over the balanced version, was tamer in the bass than the balanced version, so less bass energy, with the same energy in the mids and highs that the bass version had. So it just, if one was excessively bass heavy and also a little bit going towards the shouty and making it a more common tune, this one just came across more, basically the complaints that the CRA had about that 5K peak. I had that kind of complaining with the high resolution. I could understand and I could see where occasionally it was, yes, very interesting, because having less bass energy, it cleaned up certain details. But overall, I still think that the balanced version is the one that makes the most sense, and that's the reason why it's the one that I've got here for this comparison. So the EDA balanced version was an improvement over the CRA, and a worthy improvement. Then about a month ago, they decided to launch the CRA Plus. And what was the CRA Plus? Well, the CRA Plus was an EDA, is basically an EDA balanced version, as you can see, hopefully, in terms of bass and mids and the transition. And then it, although it's slightly more energetic there in that 2 to 3K area, it balances it out by bringing down the 5K area, but gives us the energy that we had in the CRA past 10. So if the EDA lost that energy past 10, although maybe not as noticeable as you would think when you listen to music, the CRA Plus gives us back that energy, lowers that 5K peak, and kind of plateaus that whole area there slightly better from 2 to 6K, okay, and loses a little bit in the bass at from 50 down a little bit. It's just a little bit less sub bass there. Otherwise, it's basically the same. So personally, and I know some reviewers did not have that thought. They thought that maybe it should have been a totally new model. Personally, the fact that it was able to bring down that 5K peak while maintaining the energy past 10, for me, that is more than reason enough to justify it being called a CRA Plus. Again, it's supposedly a newer, improved driver, and until today, it was the one that made the most sense. The CRA Plus was overall the one that would be the better option between the CRA and the EDA balanced. The only negative aspect that I called out on the CRA Plus was the fact that occasionally the treble, due to its energy, could be a little bit untidy and splashy, but nothing that again I would consider breaking the bank. Its other drawback was the price, which initially was in the $30 odd, and then it's now come down to about 25, which is still substantially more money than the original CRA. I mean, we were talking 15, that's 30 something, but you're getting 3 sets there, so let's say it's about $13-14 per set, and this is still 25, so it's still more money, than still twice the money than you were paying for the EDA or the CRA. So it could be a question of, do you have this, is it a worthy upgrade? Perhaps not. Do you have this? Is it again, perhaps not, you don't have any of these, you want to buy the best of what is available so far, then yes, this is the one that probably makes the most sense. So finally enter the KZ EDX Ultra, and in a nutshell what this basically does is it further improves upon what was done in terms of tuning on the CRA Plus, and I'll just show you here. Okay, so EDX Pro Ultra, there we go, and let me just take away all the others so we get a better idea. So I've just left the CRA Plus with the Ultra, and as you can see is it basically does the same kind of response up to 6.5, 7K almost, and then that peakiness that you had at 8, which coupler related or not, apparently it's not only coupler related, it brings it down and it just tidies up that last end there. When you listen to it, what basically it translates to in terms of sound is that splashiness, that untidiness of the treble has been controlled. It's not totally gone, but it's been controlled, and that is, and the fact that it costs $20, that then makes it, in my opinion, and you know, without going into too much details, which I will just describe a few things extra, but this is, as of this moment, without question, the one that makes the most sense if you don't have any of the others. If you do have a CRA Plus, is it worth to go and spend another $20 to buy this? I guess not. If you have those two, is it again worth? Again, I guess not. You can always play with an EQ a little bit and you will get what the Ultra is giving us. If you don't have any of them and you are on the market of wanting to buy a very well tuned KZ IEM, unquestionably the Ultra is the option. No question. I mean, just for the sake of really putting things into context so you can understand better how I would say well tuned this has been, let me just show you the following, and I think you will understand what I'm trying to say. And like I said, I'm not detracting any value from the IEM that I'm about to show and compare, but you'll see. Just 1 second, my apologies. Okay, just change the color. There we go. And let me just then show you what I'm talking about. Okay, that is the EDX Ultra graphed up against a trombone melee, and my only thing with the melee was that I would have liked that little bit extra energy up top, and there you go, you have it. Sonically and hearing in both with what I listen to, and please keep that in mind, the EDX is better. It is. It's got an equally clean bass, detailed, very good texture in the bass, really good, which was already the case with the CRA Plus. The mids are very well done, very well done, and then it's just got that extra extension up top, which the melee didn't have. Let me show you here another one. Okay, my apologies, I'm not finding what I wanted, sorry. Over here, this is, and I'm using them simply because the melee has been an IEM which has gotten a lot of traction. It was highly successful, and so it puts things into context. If I show it against something that is become popular, then I showed up against something which not many people will know. So that's the only reason why I'm showing it up against him. Let me show you here. Here we go. Okay. That's it against an Olina. And again, please keep in mind, I'm not saying it's better than the Olina. No, it's not better than the Olina. But that it gives us a very, very capable sound. It does. The Ultra does give a very capable sound. It does not have the 3D and the ultimate technical capabilities of the Olina has. That's $100 versus 20. Let's keep this in mind. But one thing I can tell you is KZ is definitely on the right track. KZ is doing things definitely the right way, and whatever messed up issues they had a couple of months back, they deserve. I honestly, I've got no issues with saying what I'm saying. They honestly deserve people to give them a second look, and not to write them off straight away, because from what I see, they are trying, and the Ultra definitely is proof of that. And yeah, guys, that's basically it. I mean, there's not a whole lot more that I can say about the Ultra. What I said about the CRA Plus basically applies 95%, 98% applies to the Ultra. What I said about the EDA applies about 85 to 90% to the Ultra. And the difference really, the main difference between the Ultra, the CRA Plus, and the EDA Balanced is that the Ultra has tidied up the upper mids very nicely. Okay, very, very nicely. It's brought down unnecessary peaks and maintained that extension up top that the CRA Plus was giving us. But if it's a product of harmonics, if it's a product of maybe some improvement or not, the reality is that all of that has translated itself into that treble that could be sometimes a little bit messy on the CRA Plus to have really become very pleasurable to listen to. And I can only just say congrats to KZ. Congratulations. I mean, well done. In terms of, finally, just for, I didn't mention too much, but in terms of fit, it's fine. Finish, it's acceptable for what it is. I do have to admit that I didn't really like the finish of this, I don't know what to call it, on the faceplate. It's just a little bit ragged, and it can, you feel it on the skin if you touch with your fingers and so on. I didn't really like that. And again, I'll finish off by saying what I said when I reviewed the CRA Plus was, this dynamic driver has got definitely potential, and I can only wait to see what will be the substitute for the ZAS, or I can only wait to see what KZ will be able to do with this driver and a couple of BAs in a more more, let's call it top of the line model that they will offer us, because the potential of this driver is definitely there. All right, anyway, guys, thank you for your time. As usual, please, if you like what you see, subscribe. Any questions, just feel free to ask. And yeah, that's it. Enjoy yourselves. All right, take care. Bye-bye.